Hello, I am having a lot of fun clearing out my sample cabinet. And today we're going back to Guadeloupe. Guadeloupe, part of the French Caribbean, and they make rum agricole. So I've got 6 of them today. Some of them are terrifyingly strong, but we're going to work with this. Guadeloupe, I've done a whole bunch of reviews before. I will link up the relevant ones below. But basically, it is a region for producing cane juice based rum that, unlike Martinique, isn't under a restrictive AOC. Like it's basically just a basic geographical protection. So there's no rules about which stills you have to use, about exactly how you have to do things. So it's a little bit of a Wild West kind of scenario, which makes it cool. All right, so I've got 5 samples, and then this big one here, which I guess no one else was bonkers enough to buy. So I'm doing it myself. But you know what? We'll get to that when we get to that. 5, and then God help us, do not light a match near this. 6. In general, though, what you're going to see is column distillation of cane juice that has had pitched yeast, so they're not doing wild fermentation. It's a controlled select yeast. All right, let's go through these. All right, we're going to start off with Longueteau, an old friend of the channel. This is the Longueteau Constellation, bottled at 57.5%. I think this is a 2022 release. So the label here says red and white cane. The ones I've seen on the internet are red and blue. But in any case, it's a blend of two different plots. They're selecting for particular varietals of cane, and that's super cool. All right, let's see what we got on the nose. God, I love Agricole rum. So we're getting white flowers. We're getting tons and tons of lime. It's like conventional regular lime, but also some key limes in there, particularly like key lime zest. It's very aromatic. A little bit of mango in there as well. That's interesting. A certain kind of minerality, a little bit of soapstone. It's very clean. Maybe a little bit of tomato in there, like some kind of plum tomato, like a super concentrated San Marzano tomato or something. Yeah, a little bit of something like that. Let's see what happens on the palate. Things are starting off well. I've said before, unaged rums, not white rums, because that's a different thing, but unaged rums are arguably the best QPR category in the world right now. And at this point, we're just throwing another awesome QPR on the stack. Yeah, very floral, very clean. Lot of lime character on this. Yeah, straight up just take key lime and juice it directly into my mouth. That's a lot of what this tastes like. It's a very aromatic kind of lime thing. But then there's a lot of minerality to this too. So take, get some like soapstone dust, kick it into my face. Then maybe take a little bit of like crushed fennel and like half a basil leaf, and then put them in there too, kind of mixed up with everything. That's most of what's going on here. Some white pepper as well. A little bit of floral action. Awesome. Good mouthfeel, good length on my mouth. Finish is holding on quite strong. Yeah, this is awesome. All right, we're starting off high, and I'm gonna add some water to this. Come back to it. Let's keep this train going. 3, 4. Probably gonna need 5. Let me see though. I'll go 4.5. It's 57.5. It is the weakest thing here. I'm mostly going to go in order of increasing strength. I am kind of staggering things a little bit to make sure I get the 2 Bolognas together. But other than that, it's an order of increasing strength. Let's move on. Glass 2 has got the Papa Rouyo. This is a Habitation Velier release. Distilled 2021, bottled at 62% alcohol by volume. I've never had anything from this distillery before. I think this is column distilled. I honestly don't know much about them, but I'm happy to find out. Let's get this shot on the nose. Ooh, getting a little bit more savory. Yeah, much more savory actually. So we're getting some sun-dried tomatoes in this, along with some like green olives. Maybe throw some anchovies in there. No. The anchovies are too strong. Like a little bit of like salted mackerel. There's a little bit of like fishiness going on, but nice. A little bit of lime peel here too. Also some minerality, maybe some like limestone going on. Just some like straight up like rotting cane notes, but again, nice. It's really the tomato and the olive stuff that's kind of ruling this, and like the mackerel. Oh, and also just standard rummy notes, like a little bit of fennel as well, like fennel and sea salt. Yeah, I'm into this. Okay, on the palate. Interesting. So on the nose, this felt much more grungy and like dirty and savory than Longueteau, but that's not really carrying through on the palate. There is some umami character in this. There's almost like some mushroom sautéed in soy sauce kind of thing going on, but it's much cleaner than it was on the nose. Hold on. Huh. Let me think about this. Okay, we're retaining the olives. The tomato has mostly been lost. You do have that mushroomy soy sauce thing, which is kind of cool. That minerality is hanging around. the sea salt thing, fennel. It's quite floral in the palate, actually. It feels like there's a little bit of like a wildflower thing happening. But the mouthfeel is actually a little bit less impressive. The mouth presence in general, I should say, than the Longueteau was. One more shot. Tricky. I'm enjoying the flavors, but I just want kind of more impact, more intensity, which so I kind of liked the nose on this Papa Rouyo more than the Longueteau, but I felt like the palate on the Longueteau had more carry through and kind of what it was doing. Still very darn good though. I'm gonna give this a couple squirts of water. 62%. We can get up to 5, 3, 4, 5. 11 minutes in. 4 rums and then a second round left to go. But oh, those 4 rums. All right, let's get going. All right, this is from the Bologna distillery, which I've been meaning to try for a long, long time. This is their Grande Savane, 61%, 0.2% alcohol by volume, 2020 edition. And the cool thing about this is I believe, let me check my notes. I should have written this down. Yeah, this is completely organic, and it's a limited release. And so basically, so far as I know, the first fully organic Blanc Agricole rum from Guadeloupe, which is very, very cool. This is the first Bologna I'm trying on the channel. So I'm super duper excited. And it is bottled at a hair bit weaker than the Papa Rouyo. This is 61.2. We're edging back a little bit in the Longueteau's direction. This is more on the clean side. So yeah, lime, minerality, limestone, really. Lemon coming through too, though. There's definitely some lemon in the house. Oh, what is that? There's something slightly herbaceous going on, but it's hard to pick out. Maybe just a little bit of something light, like an oregano. Kind of one of those subtle herbs, like not something super duper loud like mint or whatever. This is one of the ones you kind of throw in right at the end, just kind of as a top note. Yeah, I'm gonna go with oregano. It's very caney, but it's I gotta say, at least on the nose, it's a hair bit of a step down in complexity from the previous two. A lot of what I'm getting here is just that, nice kind of citrus fruity note, a little bit of herbaceousness, some minerality, spritz of seawater, maybe like a gesture, just a little shoulder nudge towards salted licorice. That's kind of about it on the nose. But you know what? Nothing about this smells bad. I'm excited to try it on the palate. Let's give it a whirl. Ooh. Oh, that's okay. So with these two, I was talking about mouth presence. This has got tremendous mouth presence, more so than these last two. It is going way, way back into my throat. Keep your mind on the gutter. Mouthfeel is pretty darn good. The finish really just holds on. It's the length and the finish that's impressing me here. Hold on. Man. Okay. Take a lime, cut the peel off. Take all the pulp, the fruit. Take a bunch of like aniseed and fennel, throw it on there. Throw a couple of rocks and just kind of mash it up with your muddler. That's kind of what this tastes like. It's, but it's so that's not a super complex set of characteristics, but what's getting me here is the intensity, the way it's just kind of like bringing what it's got. Yeah, there's some basil in this. This is righteous. A little bit of papaya happening. Oh, yeah. There's something that makes me think flowers, but it's more like the stems and leaves than the actual like petals, like the blossoms of the flower. Yeah. So aromatically, maybe a hair bit behind the previous two. Definitely behind the Papa Royo for me. But on the palate, this is delivering. Just a lot. Not a lot of complexity, but just a lot of like punching power, if that makes sense. So we're going to give that some water. I'm swiftly running out of water here. 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, that feels about right. Again, when you're adding water, you don't want to drown these things. You just want to kind of like put them under a little bit of pressure just to see how they react for evaluation purposes. All right, now we're going to get to the scary half of this tasting. Starting off with another Bologna. This is the, what's this called? Sorry, I have to look this up again. This is the Distillat Canne Noir. So black cane. And it is bottled at, sorry, let me go back to the camera. 70.2% alcohol by volume. So this is old, I can't say old vine. Old plots of black cane, which is a particular varietal. Yeah, I am terrified by the strength of this. Well beyond hazmat. Let's see what we got on the nose. Nose is actually quite a bit muted. I'm getting a little hint of all things like, what is that? Like almost like baked vanilla ice cream, something like that. With a little spritz of lemon on top, but it's pretty muted. Okay, now I'm getting a little bit of like alcohol fumes. Just smells kind of nippy. But yeah, take some like baked vanilla ice cream, sprinkle some lime juice on top. Okay, here we go. It's starting to speak up now, or maybe that's just my nose adjusting. I don't know. Okay, we're getting some fennel, hints of grapefruit. Really like grapefruit peel. Basil again. Hints of like I want to say minerality, but it's yeah, we're going more like just towards sea salt in this case. And that's kind of what I'm getting on this. I don't know. Maybe it's just the alcohol kind of getting in the way, but yeah, it feels a little bit muted. Let's see what happens on the palate. So yeah, let's get the. It is intense. It is very, very intense. Let's get that out of the way first. It's kind of cliche at this point to describe things bottled at this strength to say, "Ooh, it doesn't taste like it's 70.2% alcohol." Yeah, it kind of tastes like that, but it's still very drinkable at this strength because it's well made. A hair bit less complex, maybe, than the previous Bologna, but I don't know. I like the brutality of this. A lot of lime, a lot of it really follows from the nose. A lot of lime, a lot of grapefruit peel, sea salt, maybe just like some sand you scooped off of the sea floor, kind of in general. A little fennel, little maybe like mint and basil. White pepper. Not super duper complicated, really. I don't think it's actually more complicated than the we'll say the Longueteau, but at this strength you feel it. You absolutely feel it. I'm gonna see if it kind of develops any further when I add some water. 3, 4, 5. This is going to need 6 at least. Probably more. Oh, we're going to 7. We're definitely going to 7. 7 squirts. Oh, it gets sweeter with water. I like that. All right. Next up, Père Labat. This is a rum I've enjoyed in the past. This is a single plot of theirs, Le Mongle, and it is bottled at a terrifying 70.7%. I think this is one of the only ones here, if I remember my reading, that is not column distilled. I think this is actually double pot distilled, but I will. If that is a mistake, I will try to correct it down below in the notes somewhere. And yeah, 70.7% alcohol, even stronger than the previous glass. But we have not reached the strongest yet. Oh no, we have not. All right, let's see what we got here. Ooh. Okay, that is interesting. So we're getting a lot of the same flavors as we've been getting kind of through this entire flight. Lime, flowers, minerality, limestone and soapstone, really. Some salted licorice, but it's also just like there's some extra savory character happening here. You know that like almost soy sauce thing I was getting? Imagine take that really savory soy sauce, almost a fruity soy sauce. Imagine pouring that on like a cheap steak or something, like a chuck steak. And that's kind of what this smells like. Oh yeah, and there's some floral characters coming through, almost some potpourri like notes happening. Ooh, it's very mysterious. This Rhum, this Père Labat. There's lots of little things kind of swirling around, but it really feels like a lot of the core notes that I expect in Agricole rum, but like there's this kind of potpourri thing going on, but then also this very, very savory umami thing going on at the same time. Really interesting, like almost I hate to say it, but a little hint of jackfruit happening. Don't be scared. Okay, on the palate, here we go. Oh. I think I like that. I think I like that. Good Lord. So I'm looking at this glass and I'm because some of the character is so intense. There's this like almost like a potpourri poured on top of a mint salad thing happening, and it's so intense. I'm wondering, is this like tainted or something? Is it supposed to taste like this? But no, I think. Let me try this one more time. Oh wow! No, I think it's supposed to be like this. Yeah. Um. So, so it's not just that this is strong. This is very, very, very strong. It is pushing 71% alcohol. What's getting me about this is the complexity of it. It arrives very like it's a mix of lime juice and like just yeah like cheap steak but nice like chuck steak but like submerged in fruity savory soy sauce or something. That's how it arrives, and then as it goes through your mouth it just kind of explodes into this mixture of like almost spinach and mint and basil, but also like flowers, potpourri, bordering on soap at certain points. But it doesn't cross that line. It's actually kind of stays in balance. It feels like at any moment it could kind of pull off and just go off the rails, but it doesn't. It kind of like keeps it reined in. The potpourri is really crazy. The yeah, those kind of leafy minty notes as well. Like it's Tom Platz, the what was the 81 or 82 Mr. Olympia. I think it was the 82. You go there and you look at Tom Platz and you're like, Jesus, his legs are completely insane. They're out of balance. They're bonkers. It takes you a second to notice, like, wait a second, his arms are actually pretty crazy too, like his chest and I'm sorry, I will stop with the bodybuilding metaphors. The point is, it takes you a second to notice that wait, it's not just that one thing is crazy, it's that like the craziness of some of the other stuff actually manages to balance out the the bonkersness of this. Yeah, this is quite a rum. It's gonna be tough to beat this in this flight. Definitely brings the minerality too. Oh man, I'm just not prepared for the way, like the savory, almost bloody character of this up front. Like, so yeah, like cheap steak, soy sauce, fennel, just blossoms into this crazy, like aromatic character in the back. That is very interesting. I'm super pumped just to see what this does with water. Let's see. This is not cheap. I think this is this might be the most expensive thing here, but 4, 5. But, it's gonna get a big score. Outrageous. Completely outrageous. Yeah. So needless to say, that's kind of leading the pack for me right now. All right, but we are not done yet. Oh no, we are not. Like I said, I got these in trades and splits and just kind of like generous donations. This one I bought myself because no one else is crazy enough to buy this. This is from the I have my notes. Where are my notes? This is from Montebello, which I reviewed before. I always forget the name. I'm sorry. Montebello Distillery, also Guadeloupe. It's all red cane, bottled 2023. It's new make, no aging. First batch. This is bottled by Rhum Deluxe. The important thing about this is that it is distillation strength, which is to say 83% alcohol by volume. So these are the same folks who did the absolutely bonkers DOK bottling I reviewed, I think 2 years ago or so. Except this time they're doing Agricole rum. Strap yourself in. Here we go. Yeah, it's nippy. The alcohol is definitely like attacking my nose. But beyond that, smells are pretty good. Smells like a very classic lemon lime agricole profile. Fennel, seawater, 1 black olive thrown in there. Quite clean. We're kind of in that same zone with the Longueteau and the Bologna Noir. That same kind of clean profile. A little bit of rock dust, a little bit of like soapstone dust. Tons of black pepper. White pepper. Hints of parsley. But yeah, at the present moment on this nose, very, very, very nippy. It's just, yeah, you got to kind of like fight the alcohol to nose this. And that's kind of been my view about these still strength, distillation strength Rhum Deluxe releases. They're fun. Like, these are absolutely fun to have around. You can break them out with friends. You can absolutely blow their palates to pieces. It's great. But as something to drink and as something to kind of nose and try to get a dialogue going, these can be a little bit tough. Smells clean though. Smells awesome. Let's see what happens on the palate. Sorry, what I noticed before the ginormous force of flavored alcohol hit me was there's actually a V8 juice note on the nose of this. Oh, totally. So yeah, if you were the kid who like didn't want to drink like a soda like the other kids, you just wanted V8 juice. First of all, fist bump. Then yeah, that's kind of showing up in the palate here, and it's kind of cool. So it's not like fresh tomato or anything like that. This is like processed canned juice tomato blended something. You know what I'm talking about. The palates, I'm trying to get a handle on how much of the intensity the punch here is just the bottling strength versus how much of this is the quality of the distillate. That's kind of hard to say. Hold on. A lot of this is the strength of the distillate. That being said, the bottling strength, I should say. That being said, the distillate, the quality of what's here, is nothing to sneer at. This is actually very, very well made. It's the kind of facing part of this is, again, kind of classic Agricole. You're getting lemon lime, a little bit of minerality, a little bit of fennel. Really not fennel, not fennel, like salted licorice. Hint of basil in there. Just a little kick of minerality. And that's initially what you kind of get. But then as you start paying more attention to the finish, to those little lingering notes in the aftertaste, you start to notice, yeah, like tomato juice, tomato paste, V8 juice. Mm-hmm. Yeah, mostly tomato notes, flowers. Mix of, well, mostly stems, but a mix of like petals in there too. I mean, in terms of absolute complexity, it's not touching the Père Labat, but there's a lot here. This is a nice little rum. And the bottling strength is certainly giving it some weight. All right, so we're going to give us a few squirts. Come back to it. A lot of squirts, not a few. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, at least 7, right? Probably like 8 or 9. Oh, that's good. Water brings out some sweetness on this. That's nice. But yeah, it needs at least one more squirt. And then I don't know. Like that's the problem with these high proof bottlings. You just gotta like, you have to babysit them so much just to get them in a drinkable shape. We're gonna do 9. I guess we're doing 9. And now I'm gonna try it one more time just to be sure. No, one more. 10. Is that a record? Have we broken a record with this, with 10 squirts? Okay. I'm stopping there. I'm worried I will just drown it if I add more. Okay, let's go back through these and see if I can still taste anything. Good Lord. All right, back to the Longueteau Constellation. I really enjoyed the palate on this one before, but let's see if the nose has stepped up. So one of the things I appreciate about Père Labat, the basic Père Labat that I reviewed whenever it was the sense of like cleanliness, of almost like a brushing teeth character. I don't associate that with Longueteau at all. In fact, I associate Longueteau as being almost more of a dead ringer for some Mexican rums, like Charonda, stuff from Oaxaca, that really intense, like tomato savory thing. But this is trending more in that kind of like hippie toothpaste direction. Fennel, mint, basil. Definitely bring the lime, the key lime, minerality. Good nose. Good development from before. On the palate. Mmm. 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 Tricky. I think I like the nose now a little bit better, but the palate loses something. Yeah, it loses a little bit of just presence with the addition of water. It's very nice, but the mouth length has kind of contracted a little bit. It's mostly all kind of at the front of my mouth right now. Finish is still good. Finish is still pretty long. Mouth feel is not. It's okay, but it's not as good as it was when it was neat. So it's a very, very, very good rum Agricole. Yeah, I like this very much, but I think it loses a little something with the addition of water, and I don't know. I just want another step or two from it. I just want a little bit more. So I'm going to give this. I'm stuck between an 85 and an 86. So I'm just going to call this an 86 minus. 86 minus for the Longueteau Constellation. Let's move on. All right, we are at the Papa Rouyo from Habitation Velier. Ooh. I'm going to be honest with you. I wasn't expecting these to change a whole lot with the addition of water. I'm getting the impression I was wrong to think that, because these are actually changing a fair bit on me. Like there's now a pool water thing going on with this. So imagine taking a whole like bag full of sun-dried tomatoes and dropping them in like a bucket full of pool water. That's kind of what it smells like. And I'm sort of into it. And then like throw a whole bunch of basil and, well, not mint, more basil into the mix. Maybe some parsley too. That's fun. Interesting. See what happens on the palate. Because the palate was where I was having trouble with this one. Let's see what happens. Huh. Definitely developing more on the hippie toothpaste side of things. I'm losing a lot of that kind of fresh lime thing I was getting before. It's now like a lot of fennel, a lot of, yeah, kind of like minty, herbal, basil stuff. Minerality. Huh. Let me try the... Bear with me. Let me try the Longueteau one more time. Honestly, similar mouth presence on the Papa Rouyo as the Longueteau. Now that I've added a little bit of water, getting dangerously low here. Again, decent finish. The mouthfeel and the mouth length, are kind of disappointing me. Certainly not a bad rum by any means. Oh, it's very good. But yeah, I don't think I would add water to this. All in all, I think I would enjoy the freshness of it when it's kind of like just at strength. I'm going to give this, I'll give this the same score. 86 minus out of 100. Certainly pretty darn good, but I don't think it's going to win the flight. All right, let's move on. The first of the Bolognas. Sorry, I think I'm getting a little bit tipsy. I'm going to try to keep my critical faculties. The Grande Savane. On the nose. Also has kind of receded a little bit. Maybe it's just my brain is adjusting at the intensity of these three right here. Yeah, this is... I mean, I say receded, but at the same time, like, I'm not... It's still got this beautiful, like, pure lime and key lime thing going. With this little background of, like, savory, minerally stuff happening. And some floral elements, which is very nice. Nope, here it goes. I'm swirling. Okay, now it's starting to pick up a little bit. Honestly, on the nose, not a whole lot of change from what I recall before. It wasn't the most complex nose of this flight before. It still isn't, but I'm appreciating the, I'm appreciating the kind of limey purity of this. Okay, on the palate. What I liked about this was the mouth presence. I think I talked about that before in the first run through of this. And with water, it really retains that mouth presence. It feels nice. It's kind of dominating my entire mouth. It hangs on. When you start to break down the flavors, it doesn't sound like there's a lot. Lime, lemon, fennel, basil, bits of minerality, sea salt. But that's kind of all you need for this kind of profile. It's And it just hangs and hangs and hangs. That's really nice. Is it my favorite Agricole rum ever? Even from Guadeloupe? No, it isn't. It feels maybe a little bit too academic, too like just straight ahead, right in the middle of the lane. But it's damn good. I mean, this is absolutely worth straight up 86 points out of 100. Very good rum. All right, moving on. Let me try that one more time. I can't make it to 87. No. I mean, it's just got more presence than the other two once the slightly higher score, but I don't think I can kind of get it up. Okay, so in my brain, the my North Star is Ray and Nephew Overproof is 86 plus. That's the first score I ever gave on the channel. And I have to ask myself, is this as good as Ray and Nephew Overproof? Almost. It's almost there. Just not quite. 86 points. Moving on to the Distillat Noir, Noir. And this has now been brought down from 70% to a more reasonable, probably 40 to 45, somewhere in there. This was, as I recall in the first round, I found this more powerful in some respect than the Grande Savane, probably because of the bottling proof, but also less complex. So let's see what happens when they're brought down to roughly the same strength. Actually feels like a step down. Yep. The Grande Savane has more freshness. This is bringing a nice kind of like lime and rocks note. It's very pleasant. That's kind of all there is to it. It's just like take some rocks, sprinkle some lime juice on them, take the lime husk and throw it down there along with the rest of it. That's sort of the rep. That's kind of the notes. Certainly very good. I certainly no complaints about this. Good rum, but at least in the nose, it's not bringing the complexity of the previous glass on the palate. Same kind of story on the palate, actually. It actually has very, very good mouth presence. Good finish. Good mouth length. Good mouth feel. It's the complexity which is kind of letting this down. It just feels like rocks and lime. That's really all that's happening. Let me try the previous one more time. No, it's those little top notes, those little like additional flavor profiles, which are really putting the Grande Savane. I keep forgetting the name. The Grande Savane ahead for me. This is delicious. I like the intensity. I like the weight. But this Distillat Noir, I don't think it has the same complexity. Hold on. Yep, that kind of sums it up. Good, very good even, but it's just simple, man. A little bit of lime, a couple of rocks. That's really it. That's most of what's happening. So I'm gonna give this a. I'm gonna finish off my water. Oh my god. I'm gonna finish off my water, and give me. Yeah, 85. 85 points. So all these are kind of in a narrow range so far. So yeah, it's all these are between 85 and 86. So all pretty darn good. Kind of right dead in the center of good. And I think the next two are going to change that. Sure would be nice if I had more water. Oh, wait. I have learned a thing or two from experience. All right. Moving on. We're back to the Père Labat Le Mongle. Let's try this. Yeah, this is good stuff. It's just got that almost like meaty edge to it. It's so weird and interesting, and just a couple of steps up from everything else here. Everything else here is so far has been great, or not good, or not great, good. Everything else so far has been good. This is like just a couple of steps up from regular old good. It's like the bloodiest rare, like gross meaty steak you can think of, but you're just gonna like drop a bunch of flowers and herbs on top, and that's kind of what this smells like. Oh, and there's some salt water and maybe some fennel too. Very weird, very distinctive. I don't think I picked up on this profile from like anywhere else ever. Super fun. Let's see what happens on the palate. Yeah, the floral element is absolutely it threatens to overwhelm this, but it doesn't. Everything else is just kind of strong enough to balance it out. So water brings out a little bit of sweetness, which I like. This is so weird. Where do I start with it? I mean, I so the description I had from the first round: drench a cheap steak in soy sauce, eat it, but then like it explodes in your mouth into spinach and herbs and potpourri that mostly still holds, except now like your mouth is filled with cotton candy the entire time. That's really the difference. It's getting a high score. I'm just deciding how high. I mean, the length is terrific. It's just going like way down into my lungs, for God's sake. Good mouth presence, good finish. Super duper complex. Is it balanced? I mean, the herbaceousness in the flowers are like throwing up warning signs all over the place. Like that something is going wrong. But if I'm kind of like really paying attention to this, it makes it work. It holds it steady. Um, what am I going to score this? I'm going to give this a 90, but it has to come with a warning. This is not something you can drink on a casual basis. Like, you have to be willing to kind of go to war with this thing. Like, it's like stressing me out a little bit and forcing me to work, to really kind of follow what this is doing in a way that most spirits that get into the 90 range don't. So I'm going to give this like a 90 plus some clever emoji, like a warning emoji. Yeah. Okay. And that's about the best I can do. Yeah, like 90 warning emoji. We're going to stick to that. Absolutely terrific. The sort of thing you should be bringing to your local rum tasting or whiskey tasting or whatever, because no one else has tasted anything like this. I guarantee it. This is a special thing. I don't care what else you've tasted before in your life. You know, Clarence, Mars, whatever. You have not tasted this before. But it's just hard work. So bear that in mind. All right, we're going to follow this up with something else that is also very hard work in a different respect. The Montebello Still Strength from Rhum Deluxe. On the nose, not a lot of change, surprisingly. There's a little bit of like what is that? Like a brown sugar, almost like a brown sugar baked bean kind of thing, like a canned baked bean thing happening. But nice. It's really like just that. In the background is a little bit of color to the parade of like minerality and lime. And I appreciate it. Yeah, minerality, lime, a little V8 juice, yeah. It's very peppery. It's very, despite the fact that I brought this down in proof a lot, it's very nippy. Maybe that's okay. On the palate. So water brings out a certain degree of sweetness in this again. There's a little bit of what are those little candies that are a little bit floral? What the hell are those called? Doesn't matter. But it brings a little bit of like almost a floral candy thing throughout the palate. So sweetness, lime, minerality, a little bit of savory tomato thing. And it hangs on pretty well. Good mouth presence. Actually, very good mouth presence. Bringing a hair bit more complexity than some of the others in this flight. Try like one of these others one more time. One more time. Yeah, I feel confident. I was thinking like an 87 for this, and but I was doubting myself. I'm like, is this a point better than the Longueteau and those others were? Yes, this is a point better. This is an 87 point rum. I don't know where I'm going to write that. Fuck it. Let's just write it on the label. 87 points. And that is your lineup. So what are your winners? The Père Labat, single plot from Le Mongle. I'm pretty sure this is the most expensive thing here, but totally worth it. And if you're looking for something dramatically different from what you've had in the past, that's the one to go for. Second place, the Rhum Deluxe from Montebello. Definitely, like all of the still strength, distillation strength releases from Rhum Deluxe, a little bit of a pain in the butt to deal with, but it's good. It brings power, but there's complexity to back it up, which I appreciate. And then, the Bologna Grande Savane is very good. And then these two, the Rouyo and the Longueteau, 85 minus, or 86 minus, sorry. And then an 85, which is still pretty darn good, the Bologna Noir. And there you have it. That is my Guadeloupe sample cabinet, plus this thing. Good showing from the region. I liked all of these quite a bit. And I'm going to go lay down. Thanks for watching, and cheers.